This is Charter Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance. We're in Long Beach today, and we are joined by a member of its city council. His name is Roberto Uranga. He is also a member of the California Coastal Commission. And I want to start and talk about your duties as a member of the Coastal Commission. What exactly, for our viewers, is the California Coastal Commission?
Well, the California Coastal Commission is comprised of 12 individuals, 6 who are at-large or citizens, and 6 who are elected officials. The current makeup of the commission is of the 6 elected officials, there are 4 supervisors and 2 city council reps, and I'm one of them.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah.
You've been on the Long Beach City Council for a year or so.
Just a little over a year.
Right,
yeah.
but you've been a leader on national organizations through your job as an elected trustee of California Community Colleges, but you must be enjoying this new challenge.
It's different. It certainly
and
is.
Who would have thunk that when you joined the California Coastal Commission, you would have to address an issue that has caused international focus, and that deals with Shamu.
Yes.
Let's talk about SeaWorld.
Okay.
Our friends in San Diego operate that theme park. It's been wildly successful for many years. Yet a documentary came out a few years ago called Blackfish, and it sent shockwaves through America, North America, and the world. Tell us a bit about Blackfish.
Well, Blackfish is a documentary that basically points out that the orcas that are in captivity are basically too large for captivity. They're very smart, and they need a lot of space.
Right.
The facilities at SeaWorld are now outdated, and basically the residents that are there have outgrown their habitat.
And let's talk about what SeaWorld had planned to do.
Okay.
What they had planned to do is they were going to spend $100 million to, I believe, double the size of their tanks for their orcas. But because of their location, the California Coastal Commission weighs in.
Right.
They're close enough to the coast that the Coastal Commission has jurisdiction.
Right.
So the Coastal Commission approved the tank expansion if
they stop their breeding program. Basically, what SeaWorld has been doing for a number of decades now is capturing semen from wild orcas and doing some breeding of orcas for captivity. But at the present time, the last wild orca that they caught was about 35 years ago. So it's been a long time.
But couldn't one argue that there is a benefit to these captive breeding programs in that so many species are at risk, and in terms of species preservation, it's of benefit to have at least these orcas reproduce?
Yeah. Well, the closest analogy I can give is like what goes on in some zoos, where you're trying to save the species and you have them there, and sometimes you have them on display, and you do some breeding in order to preserve the race or the culture, whatever it is.
The species.
In this case, orcas are not endangered, and the breeding that takes place is basically for the shows, for the entertainment of people.
So the view is because this is not an endangered species, no need to breed these orcas. What if an orca was at risk, a wild orca, and they needed to be brought in? Would that be of concern to the Coastal Commission?
No, because a lot of what SeaWorld does, actually, which is not well known, is they do a lot of research, and they save a lot of species that are out there from being injured or that are endangered. They bring in a lot of seals, dolphins that get caught up in nets, and then they bring them back and they nourish them back to health, and they put them back out, and that's what they're still doing.
So apparently,
but then they take the downside of that is what people are most distrustful about, is that when they bring in a wild orca, as an example, they take eggs or semen from them for the breeding program.
Now, as you may know, after the California Coastal Commission ruling, U.S. Congressman Adam Schiff of California introduced legislation to ban breeding. That's a bold move.
Yeah.
I mean, query whether that will pass, but obviously there's a lot of heat around this issue at this stage.
Yes, there is. And basically what we did at the Coastal Commission is that we didn't prohibit them from building, from expanding their tanks. All we said is you could go ahead and have your tanks, just don't breed anymore.
Now, here's what's interesting. Recently, as you know, after the Coastal Commission made its ruling, SeaWorld announced that they intended to phase out their orca experience. In terms of the orcas doing tricks and flying through the air. And as a result, I believe they would not need to double the size of their tanks. They would put that on hold. They would use part of that money for other purposes. And they would create what they're describing as an experience to display orcas in a more natural setting. What do you make of that?
They're not going to stop breeding. I mean, plain and simple.
I understand. So I didn't think of that. And this is a way to get around the Coastal Commission's ruling. If they don't expand the tanks, they don't have to.
They continue with their same business model.
Because you can't prevent them from breeding.
No, we can't.
Under Coastal Commission rules. That was a restriction if they're going to expand tanks.
It was a condition.
So what do you make of this? Are you frustrated by their decision to do an end run, what some would call an end run around?
Well, you know, that's a difficult question to answer because basically what we try to do in the Coastal Commission is protect environmentally sensitive areas. We try to provide and continue to provide access to the coast for those that for everybody. The coast is for everybody, not just for the few. And when we look at what's taking place here, is that SeaWorld is a business, they're in the entertainment business, although they do some great work with research, and that research is providing some very meaningful and useful information regarding the behavior of orcas and other species. But in the end, it's a business. And so for us to tell them that you can have these tanks if you don't breed, sounds like we're infringing on their ability to
I mean, that would have been $100 million infusion into the San Diego economy.
But then again, there's what's right and then the right thing to do.
So where does the commission go from here? Because if they do adopt this approach, there's no jurisdiction. The commission cannot enforce a restriction. Will the commission go so far as to endorse Congressman Schiff's legislation? Or is it just beyond your purview, you did what you could do, and we move on?
We are a policy-making body.
Okay.
So we let the politics take care of themselves. The only point that we would insert ourselves into any kind of political movement or situation would be if there was a direct effect on the commission itself, its policies, the Coastal Act, or anything that affects that. But in terms of something like this, I don't see the commission having a big role in participating in any kind of activity that would encourage the stoppage of breeding. Now, that's not to say that as individual commissioners, we can't get involved. But
can you endorse?
But as a body, it would not. No.
His name is Roberto Uranga. He is a member of the California Coastal Commission, also a member of the Long Beach City Council, which is where we are today. My name is Brad Pomerance. I'm so glad you're joining us on Charter Local Edition.